New details have been released on a pill that fights COVID-19. Will OU's employee vaccine mandate apply to students? And a Georgia murder trial begins despite controversy regarding the selected jurors. OU Nightly starts now. Hello, thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Jessie Klinger.
And I'm Olivia Dague. Tonight we bring you new developments in the fight against COVID-19.
Pfizer announces new details on their experimental COVID pill. The company says the pill reduces the risk of hospitalization and death for high-risk patients. It is designed to be taken at home with another drug before the person becomes sick enough to go to the hospital. For patients that take it soon enough, risk of death or hospitalization can be reduced by 89%.
New information tonight about the COVID vaccine mandate that applies to all OU employees, including students. We now know employees will have additional time to get the shot and show proof of it. OU Nightly's Logan Morrow tells us what we can expect in the coming months.
A shot in the arm, or in many cases two, is going to be mandatory for all faculty and staff, part-time student employees included. However, that deadline has been extended after OU Human Resources sent out a new email yesterday evening following OSHA's mandate. OU's chief COVID officer acknowledges that the state is split on vaccines.
This is a state where we know that mandates are not terribly popular.
The new deadline is January 4th, and those who need 2 doses will need to act soon. OU Human Resources says for 2-dose vaccines like Moderna and Pfizer, employees need to get their first dose in late November and their second dose by December 21st. For the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine, employees need to get their shot by December 21st. OSHA's mandate does give employees the option to mask up and test weekly if they do not wish to get the vaccine, but OU Media Relations says OSHA's testing option does not directly apply to the university since it is a state entity. Dr. Bratzler says most people aren't what he would call anti-vax, even if they don't want to get vaccinated.
They have legitimate concerns. They don't understand. They've heard the things. They've seen it in social media. They don't know what to believe. And, so we just help them work through some of those issues.
OU Media Relations says from a random sample conducted in September, 94.9% of surveyed employees are fully vaccinated. Human Resources has not yet announced how they will require employees to submit vaccination proof.
And the fight against COVID-19 is not over in the state of Oklahoma. The state had 576 new cases today, bringing the total active cases to 5,142. There have been 11,481 total deaths, and 50% of Oklahoma's population has been vaccinated.
And Jessie, I was really glad to see the sun out today. We've had so many clouds.
It was so nice. It was a great change from the wind and the clouds. Colton Williams joins us in the studio. Colton, how about you? Are you enjoying the weather today?
Hey, it was beautiful out there today. Felt much more akin to a early fall day than a mid-fall day. And hey, there's a small period of time here in the fall here on OU's campus where you get to see the mums in bloom, right? We have a longer period in the spring and the fall. They're out for 2 to 3 weeks before then we get too cold, and they do unfortunately go away, but they're out right now. They look gorgeous. They look absolutely beautiful up and down the South Oval. You don't have any plans this weekend, maybe get out, go take some pictures of the mums, especially no football game. We've got a 5-star weekend coming up. We'll talk about all that and more, as well as our fall back, and then we have a cool down incoming. Ladies, back to you.
The prosecution and defense began their opening statements in the trial of the men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery, the 25-year-old black man who was fatally shot near Brunswick, Georgia in February of 2020.
Ahmaud Arbery's mother letting out a heartbreaking cry as she watches video of her son's death for the first time.
I thought it was time to get familiar with what happened to Ahmaud the last minutes of his life. So I'm glad I was able to stay strong and stay in there.
It's been about a year and a half since this video of Ahmaud Arbery's final moments went viral. Now the men accused of killing him get their day in court.
The issue is not whether there was probable cause to conduct a citizen arrest. The issue is going to be, ultimately, whether Travis McMichael and perhaps Greg used excessive force.
In the now infamous video taken by William Bryan, You can see the father and son duo of Gregory and Travis McMichael chasing after Arbery.
Stop or I'll blow your head off. That's what he said to Mr. Arbery.
All three men have pleaded not guilty to several charges, including felony murder and false imprisonment. They say they went after Arbery thinking he had something to do with some recent crimes in the neighborhood.
They have to show that they were chasing Mr. Arbery because they were trying to make a citizen's arrest.
Attorney Paige Pate expects the prosecution will argue that a citizen's arrest was not justified and that Arbery was simply jogging through the neighborhood near Brunswick, Georgia.
I anticipate that they will just rely on the clear, critical evidence that they already have.
In Brunswick, Georgia, I'm Daryl Forges.
The trial will continue despite previous controversy regarding jury selection. The jury consists of 11 white members and only 1 black member.
Here in Oklahoma, another controversial trial continues to unfold. Julius Jones is awaiting a decision on his clemency. Dylan Rivera reports on a rally held at the state capitol today.
So God, I ask you right now, let hope reign. Let hope prevail. Send Julius home. In Jesus' name, amen.
Today's rally wasn't a march led by bullhorns and signs. Instead, calling on the divine from the steps of the state capitol.
Our state should not take a life that it cannot give. We believe that only God gives life. And since God is the giver of life, He and He only alone can take life.
As Governor Stitt mulls over the decision of what to do with Julius Jones's life, the Oklahoma City Baptist Ministers Association pray he'll let Jones live.
We, the faith community, gather here today to communicate to you as well as to the judicial system of our state that a show of mercy is the only appropriate decision in light of the circumstances that surrounds the case of Mr. Julius Jones.
Today marks 4 days since the Pardon and Parole Board voted in favor of giving Jones life in prison rather than the death penalty. The execution scheduled for November 18th. Reporting from the state capitol, Dylan Rivera, OU Nightly.
Governor Stitt has not yet made any statements on what his decision will be.
And the trial continues for a man who shot protesters in Wisconsin.
We'll have those updates next in News Center.
And First Lady Jill Biden is planning a campaign to encourage kids to get vaccinated. All that and more when we return.
Presidents across decades gathered in D.C. today for Colin Powell's funeral. Bailey Coyle has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Today marks the third day in Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Rittenhouse is on trial for killing 2 men and wounding another during an unrest in Wisconsin last August. A witness testified today that the first man shot and killed by Rittenhouse was acting belligerently but did not appear to be a threat. And yesterday, a juror was dismissed after telling a joke to a deputy earlier this week about the shooting of Jacob Blake, the black man whose wounding by a police officer sparked the unrest. And over in D.C., Colin Powell was laid to rest this afternoon. Powell, the first African-American Secretary of State, was remembered by friends, family, and fellow politicians. President Joe Biden and former President George W. Bush and Barack Obama were at the funeral, along with former Secretaries of State James Baker, Condoleezza Rice, and Hillary Clinton. Powell died on October 18th of complications from COVID-19 at the age of 84. Also in Washington today, top Democrats postponed an expected House vote on 2 spending bills. This comes as a surprise after President Joe Biden showed his support.
Let's build an incredible economic progress. Build on what we've already done, because this will be such a boost when it occurs.
And while we're still a few weeks away from Thanksgiving, people are already getting into the Christmas spirit.
We'll tell you what tree is making holiday history when we return.
welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. I'm Colton Williams. It has been a gorgeous day out there today. If you haven't been out, make sure you do because it is absolutely perfect. Looking up and down now Lincoln Boulevard towards the Oklahoma State Capitol. Sunny skies, temperatures in the upper 50s, lower 60s for a lot of us. Winds out of the south. It is dry out there, so feeling really, really nice for this early November day. Across the metro, upper 50s, lower 60s. We'll do a 59 in Shawnee. How about 60 in Norman, Purcell, Chickasha, Fort Cobb, 59 in El Reno, Kingfisher now sitting at 62. Across the state, same story, upper 50s, lower 60s. Check out our friends in the Panhandle up in Guyman, sitting at a 70. So across the state today, again, feeling a little bit more like early September than early November, but still feeling really good out there. Hey, it's quiet across the U.S. today. We've got this, the southern jet stream, which we call the subtropical jet stream, staying well away from Oklahoma, and then even the polar jet staying much further away. That's leading to some snow, some sleet up in the New England part of the country, but the only noise in the United States. This is the only game in town here down in the southeastern portion down near Florida. But coming up, a bit of a pattern change on the way, so we have a great weekend setting up. I'm talking 5-star weekend, beautiful weekend here Saturday and Sunday, temperatures in the 70s. Make sure you make outdoor plans. That kind of shifts off to the east now, heading down towards the Mississippi, Alabama region. As the midweek comes in, you see lots more blue filling in this map, colder air coming in, really, really cold, frigid air coming in. Now we're talking late next week at this point, so definitely nothing to change your plans for Monday or Tuesday, but late next week, expect some wind chills in the lower, the upper 30s, lower 40s. So, but all right, coming back to this evening now, talking 56 here at 5 p.m. As you get to 9 p.m., talking about upper 40s, clear night tonight, a really good night to make some Friday evening plans. Lows tonight across the state will get down into the 30s, 37 here in Norman, 38 in Ardmore, talking about 40 out in Elk City. And then tomorrow, again, a great day tomorrow, mid to upper 60s for most of us, 69 in Woodward, 77 up in Guyman. We are above average. So, hey, time change coming this weekend. Get ready to gain an hour of sleep, but lose an hour of daylight. And then as we talk about our 7-day, absolutely beautiful, a chance of thunderstorms coming on Wednesday. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Colton. And now, Olivia, I know November just started, but I am already in the Christmas spirit.
Me too. And while I haven't picked out my Christmas tree yet, the Rockefeller Center has picked out their tree from the state of Maryland for the first time ever.
The 12-ton Norway spruce stands 79 feet tall and is set to arrive in NYC next Saturday.
Well, I guess since there's no game tomorrow, maybe I should go do some Christmas decoration shopping before we lose this warm weather.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Big Friday Sports' Addie Crawford is here in the studio. Addie, even though it's a bye week, what else have the Sooners been up to?
With this free time, some Sooners have been branching out and trying new things. Stick around to see what exactly a familiar face has been up to. And men's basketball officially tips off on Tuesday. There's a lot of new faces on this team, so sit tight. Big Friday Sports is right around the corner.
Welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Ashley Velde.
And I'm Addie Crawford. Seems like one Sooner's having fun on their bye week.
Yes, we saw Gabe Burkich kick a 2-pound burrito there from Squatchamos. Hopefully some fun and relaxation allows the Sooners to be prepared against Baylor.
Well, I sure hope so.
After being ranked number 8 in the first college football playoff rankings, the Sooners will be ready to bounce back after taking the weekend off.
OU travels for a road game against 12th-ranked Baylor next Saturday, but before they do that, the Bears have to take a trip to Fort Worth to face off against TCU tomorrow at 2:30.
Cornerback DJ Graham says the guys are ready for Championship November and what the rest of the season holds.
You know, we always take it game by game, but like you said, it's Championship November, and the whole team knows that, the whole staff knows that, everybody knows that, and you know, even coming in, it's preached that, you know, the second half of the season, that's our season.
And OU Nightly's Colby Terrell spoke with some of the greatest to ever enter the Palace. Colby, what are the Selman brothers up to today?
OU football is big on family, and for some, that rings especially true. I recently spoke with one of the most revered football families to ever grace Owen Field.
Players of all time are immortalized in Heisman Park next to Gaylord Stadium. But now the university is going to honor a trio that lives in OU football legend.
I think it's unique because in the history of modern football, there's never been 3 brothers that have started side by side.
The Selman brothers hail from Eufaula, Oklahoma. The 3 youngest boys of 9 siblings, Lucius, Dewey, and Leroy.
3 kids from eastern Oklahoma that grew up on a 40-acre farm that were the kids of a sharecropper.
And even though they never won a Heisman, the 3 brothers have earned their spot among the greatest players OU has ever seen.
When Selman played at Oklahoma, we were 54-3-1, 2 national championships, 2 undefeated seasons.
I sat down and spoke with Dewey Selman, the second youngest of the brothers, about the honor he's receiving.
It's a very big honor, it's one that I really can't express into words.
Dewey is as humble as ever and gives much of the credit to his brothers and his head coach.
Would you attribute those championship runs to Coach Switzer?
I have to. I have to start at him first, because any team has to be given a vision.
I'm surprised they would say that. I contributed to all we all did it together. We did it as coach. We all had a role.
For OU fans, the Selman brothers are a package deal. For the rest of the football world, one stands above the rest.
Well, let me tell you, one of those guys are better than any of those statues is Leroy Selman.
But a stroke brought an early end to Leroy's life when he died at 56. Still, the legend carries on.
I know that Uncle Leroy lives in the heart of my dad, in the heart of my Uncle Lucius, in the heart of Leroy's family.
The statue, which will go up just north of Heisman Park at some point during the 2022 football season, is more than just an honor for the Selman family.
If there's one word that I think of over a weekend when the statue is unveiled, it'll be joy.
Out in the distance on my left are those Heisman statues, but right now I'm standing on the corner of Jenkins and Brooks, where this platform that I'm standing on is going to be where the Selman Brothers statue is next year. Reporting live, I'm Kolby Terrell, OU Nightly.
And OU men's basketball officially tips off this Tuesday. The Sooners are at the Lloyd Noble Center against Northwestern State at 7. The Crimson and Cream took home an exhibition game W on Monday against Rogers State, 106-57.
Tanner Groves believes this team is only going to improve as the season progresses and says Porter Moser knows what it takes to win.
And just throughout, trials and tribulations throughout the game, I think that we're only going to grow more as a team, and I think whatever wins and losses are going to help us build character and understand what it takes to win. And I just think that the coaches have really done a good job of helping us out, giving us a good base, and helping us understand what it's going to take for us to win.
And up next, we're going to pass the ball over to the ladies for some women's basketball coverage. Stick with us.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. We've talked about the men's team, so now let's switch it over to the women. OU women's basketball has a new head coach, Jenny Bronchek.
The Sooners dominated in their exhibition match, defeating Rogers State 93-23 last Sunday, but the team's chemistry is what Coach Bronchek admires most.
The way that they care about each other, they love each other, they still can challenge each other and coach each other is really, really special. And that's in the locker room, that's in life, that's on the basketball floor. And that's something that that's definitely deep roots in terms of your culture. That's not something that happens overnight. And so there's some pretty incredible women in that locker room.
Kicking off our local prep football spotlight, it's the last week of the regular season as Norman North takes on Southmore. The SaberCats are still searching for their first win of the season.
The Norman North Timberwolves are 6-3, so far making them the 16th best 6A team in the state. If the Timberwolves can pull off a win tonight, then they will seal their ticket to the playoffs. Now, the Timberwolves' crosstown rival Norman High doesn't seem to be quite as fortunate. The Tigers will travel for a tough matchup against Edmond Santa Fe.
Norman's playoff fate is dependent on a victory tonight and if Edmond Memorial can upset UConn. No matter the outcome, the Tigers continue to build their program, hoping to hit 500 for the season. And now for the game of the week, Moore and Mustang will battle it out for an exciting Friday Night Lights matchup. Both teams are sitting at 6-3 for the season.
After suffering a tough loss from Owasso last week, the Moore Lions have a lot to prove. Heading into the postseason, the Broncos are on a 3-game winning streak and after tonight hope to make it 4. Kickoff is at 7. Thanks for watching OU Nightly and Big Friday Sports. I'm Addie Crawford.
And I'm Ashley Van Velde. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Motion, Braden Willis. Snap. Williams back to pass. Flush to the right. Looking to throw. Still looking. Does now across the field. One-handed catch. Jaden Hazelwood. A one-handed snare out of the 35. Snap. Williams Straight drop, looking left, looking at Hazelwood, looks back middle, backing up, now steps up. Williams escapes, rolls right, throws late for the end zone. Williams caught it! Touchdown! Mario! Williams has it, gonna throw this time. Looking out to his right, zips one out, down to Mims, caught, and he breaks free. 40, down the sidelines, it's a race.